You're watching a segment of The Splash, Greater West Bloomfield's news magazine show.
I'm joined this week by Keith Fishman and Thor from the Henry Ford Therapy Dog Program. And welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
So it's not often we have a dog on the show, I must tell you.
I would imagine.
Exactly. But this isn't just any dog. This is a special dog. Tell me about Thor.
Thor works at Henry Ford Hospital as a therapy dog. In order to be able to do that, Thor has to be a certified therapy dog, which means he needed the training for obedience and that type of thing. Mm-hmm. He also had to be tested by a recognized therapy dog organization, pass that test. Then he had to go into Ford Hospital, pass an evaluation at Henry Ford Hospital, and then be trained for Henry Ford Hospital to be a therapy dog in their facility.
So he's gone through quite a lot.
He has. He's got some pretty good certifications.
Yes, he does. He's earned his job. So he is how old?
Thor is 7 years old, and he's been working at the hospital since he was a year old, which is the youngest a dog can get certified as a therapy dog.
Okay, and you are kind of in charge of this whole program, right?
I am, and it's a wonderful program to be in charge of. Our program has 30 dogs total. That is 3 dogs that are owned by the facility, and the other dogs that are owned by their handlers who have also gone through the whole process of getting their dog trained, certified, evaluated by the hospital, and then trained to work in the hospital.
Okay, so tell me, what is the #1 priority of a therapy dog?
Smiles.
Really?
The idea of a therapy dog is a hospital is a pretty scary place in a lot of ways. It's people that aren't feeling well. It's people with loved ones that aren't feeling well. It's staff that are doing a very difficult job in a lot of stress. The idea with the therapy dog is for them to come up, visit, be non-judgmental, be loving, and just be there to promote some smiles. And I tell everybody with the dog, when they go in there and they get a smile, they just did their job.
Nice. So you mentioned the staff, and it's funny, I didn't think about that really, but I mean, even when a staff member or a doctor sees a therapy dog walk by, I bet you they smile too, right?
Oh, exactly. And some of his biggest fans and some of the biggest fans of the program are, in fact, the staff. They get a chance to see them. And if I'm ever in the hospital without my dog, inevitably they're going to look at me and say, "Where's Thor?" So, yeah, and they're the ones who chase me down the hall saying, "Wait, I haven't seen Thor yet today." Or
right.
They'll chase Benson down the hall and say, "I haven't seen Benson today. Let me say hello." They have a pretty high-stress job. They have a lot that they have to do. And just to get that momentary respite means an awful lot to them.
So tell me, if somebody was interested in, are you at your capacity for therapy dogs at the hospital, or are you always looking, or what's the requirements?
I'm never at my capacity. I'm always looking for new teams to come in. Dogs get older, handlers get older, dogs get sick, so I want as many dogs in the hospital as I can get. I've never heard anybody tell me we have too many dogs in the hospital. So anytime there's a good team or somebody that's certified or wants to get certified and wants help through the process, if they give me a call at Volunteer Services at Henry Ford Hospital, I will help them through the process, evaluate them and their dog for the program, train them, and I'd love to have another dog. I'm always looking for a good dog team at the hospital.
So what are the handler requirements? Because dogs obviously have to go through all the training too, but so do their owners, right?
Right, and that's one of the reasons they have to be a certified therapy dog. A certified therapy dog is certified with a specific handler. So if, for instance, a husband and wife both want to handle the dog, to get certified, they each have to get certified as handlers for the dog.
Separately?
Separately.
Okay.
For instance, my wife and I are both certified for Thor, and we're both certified for another dog of mine. And they each have to come in to be evaluated, because I'm going to evaluate them each with the dog, and then they each have to be trained with doing rounds in the hospital individually in order to come into the hospital.
Right, and so because it is a hospital and there's a lot of rules, a lot of regulations, especially privacy issues.
Right.
So just tell me about that a little bit.
Okay, well, the HIPAA laws, for those that don't know, those are the privacy medical laws. Even for our volunteers, not just dog handlers, but any volunteer, if they happen to walk into a room and they hear something or they find something out, they have to be fully trained on the HIPAA laws themselves, and they have to adhere to the HIPAA laws as if they were a physician or a nurse in the hospital. In my case, if I see somebody in the hospital that I happen to know on my rounds, I have to stay quiet about the fact that I know that person is hospitalized. It's part of the HIPAA law.
Right. So, there's more than just taking your dog to the hospital. And,
yes.
There's a lot involved. So what's the timing of this? How long does it take how long did it take Thor to become certified?
For A dog can't be certified until they're at least a year old.
Okay.
There's different organizations, so there's different certification tests, but most of them, they want to see that the dog is a very obedient dog. It will do what it's asked, when it's asked, how it's asked, even when there's a lot of things going on around, a lot of distraction. So they'll test you with wheelchairs and canes and walkers and running children and food right under the dog's nose.
Right.
Because if you can think about it, in a hospital, things can be on the floor that you don't want your dog to touch.
Right.
So they have to make sure before they're even certified that the dog will respond to the owner's commands. And when I'm in the hospital, because we give a great deal of autonomy in our program, I want to see a good, strong connection between the dog and the owner. I want to see that they're nice and stable, that sudden noises or sounds or smells won't take them off center. And if they do get startled, they're back under control in a heartbeat just because it was just a startling issue. And that way, and the other piece that I'm always looking for, I want to make sure both the handler and the dog are going to enjoy themselves.
And you said that earlier, and I thought that was so interesting because, I mean, while he is going to work per se, you still want him to have
He's got to love
good
it.
time, right?
He's got to love it.
So-
Any dog that comes in has to love it. If
Right.
a dog doesn't love being with people, being touched, getting attention, they're not going to be a very good therapy dog. They're not going to be a dog that's going to go out and seek out the attention, and that's really what we need in the hospital. We don't need people to chase dogs in the hospital.
Right.
We need the dogs to come up and say, "Hi, I'm your buddy."
Right. So when he visits a room, how long is he there?
In any given room, it depends a great deal. Sometimes it's a quick visit, but sometimes you find out, and this is where I look for good handlers as well, that people need a little bit of extra time. Sometimes somebody's lonely, a little bit scared. They need a little bit more of an ear. So when we go into a room, all of our handlers have a great deal of choice as far as how much time they need to spend. If they see it's quick in and out, if the doctor's coming in, they're going to move out quickly. But if someone's there alone, maybe a little nervous, needs a little listening ear, an additional shoulder, they can actually spend as much time in there as they want.
Oh, so they're not like on a clock and like,
They are
okay,
not.
we got to move it.
No,
It's not
absolutely.
like- it's
The
not
whole
like
point
that.
is to make people feel better, not to cut them short.
Right.
So whatever it takes to make them feel better is our job and the dog's job.
Right. So tell me something special about Thor.
Thor's got a lot of special things about him. He's actually one of the favorites there. We do have the dogs that are the facility dogs, Benson and Hope, that are owned by the hospital. Thor has been there for about 6.5 years, so he's pretty well known. And he's a pretty chill guy, so that means he gets pretty popular. So it's just a lot of fun when we go in there and people chase me down the hall to say, "Wait, I haven't seen him yet. I got to say hi to Thor today."
Right.
And it's particularly gratifying, whether it's staff or a patient or anyone else, when they take a look, they pet him and they go, "That is the best part of my day."
And then again, he's done his job, right?
He has done his job.
He's done
He got
his
a
job,
smile.
even if he didn't mean to.
He always means to.
Right.
And he actually is real intuitive. He'll figure out how much attention somebody needs, and he will do that. If he needs to stay a little further away, he will. If he figures somebody needs a little extra, he'll get real close and maybe lean up against them a little bit. He has a pretty good feeling of what the job needs that moment.
Right, right. I think he's falling asleep.
Are you falling asleep?
Well, it has been a pleasure to meet you and to know what Thor does and all the other dogs that are there.
Thank you.
And again, if anyone was interested, they need to contact you at...
Call at Volunteer Services.
Okay.
And if anybody ever wants to donate to the program, it is fully funded by donations.
Oh,
It is
okay.
not funded by the hospital. It's
Okay.
fully by donations, and the staff loves it enough that that's where most of the funding comes,
Right.
from their own paychecks. But just contact me at Volunteer Services. Let me know you have a nice dog that you want to certify, or that you have a dog that is certified, or that you want to be a handler of one of our dogs, and I'd love to speak with you further.
Okay.
Because I'm always looking for more people.
And as far as the donations, I didn't realize that. So people could just donate as well.
Exactly. They can go right onto the Henry Ford West Bloomfield website, and they'll see a spot for donations for the Goldman Therapy Dog Program.
Okay. And real quick, I need to mention that Thor actually has his own little card, so he is pretty much a celebrity.
He is. He is.
He's pretty much a celebrity. He has his own card. It's like a baseball card with his picture on it and his name. So
Exactly. I told people that if the dog walked into the hospital without me, everybody would know who he is. If I walk into the hospital without the dog, I'm entirely incognito.
how funny, huh? Well, thank you so much for joining us. It has been a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to be here.
And it has been a pleasure to meet
Thor?
Thor. He is such a sweetheart.
That's my good boy.
And once again, we've been joined by Keith Fishman and Thor.
Thanks for watching this segment of The Splash. To watch the entire show or other segments, catch us on Comcast Channel 15 and AT&T Channel 99. Or look us up online at thesplash.tv and listen to us every week on 89.3 WBLD, the all-new Lakes FM.